Bantu Biko is regarded by many as the father of black consciousness, and in his short life, he was able to leave a definitive imprint on the struggle for human rights. Even as a young man, Biko was recognized as a bright, outspoken, and dynamic student with a thirst for knowledge. After high school, he registered for a degree in medicine at the black section of the University of Natal, and he soon found himself involved in student politics. Frustrated with the liberal student unions of the time, Biko set out to create a forum with more radical policies. "Black man, you are on your own" became the rallying cry of a relentless campaign that called for a reappropriation of black self-consciousness. This led Biko to the creation of SASO, an all-black students' organization, and later the Black Consciousness Movement, which ignited a real sense of pride in being black and infused tens of thousands with a new spirit of resistance.
We believe that in our country there shall be no minority, there shall be no majority, there shall just be people.
When the South African government announced that it would become mandatory for black students to take certain subjects in Afrikaans, the language of the oppressors, students mobilized to protest. Thousands of children and residents from Soweto took to the streets. A violent confrontation with police followed. An estimated 176 people lost their lives that day, the majority of whom were children. The violence of the Soweto Uprising shocked the world, and the South African government faced immense pressure from all quarters. Rather than capitulate, the government cracked down on whomever they deemed to be the enemies of the state, not least of which was Biko himself. Jimmy Kruger, the Minister of Justice and Police in the apartheid government of B.J. Vorster, had Biko arrested. He was subsequently beaten and tortured until he fell into a coma. On September the 11th, 1977, 1 year after the Soweto Uprising, Biko was transported without medical attention in the back of a Land Rover for over 12 hours. He died in a prison cell 1 day later. He was only 30 years old. But it didn't stop there. The government ordered operatives like Craig Williamson, Dirk Coetzee, Clive Derby-Lewis and Eugene de Kock to brutally assassinate other anti-apartheid activists like Ruth First, David Webster, Chris Hani, and countless others. In spite of international and local outrage, the assassins and their bosses were never held accountable. Those who wanted to see the murderers' heads roll were deeply disappointed that they were never brought to justice.
Simple question, did you cause his death?
I would not be able to say if it was my own, if I was responsible, but there were a few of us present there.
Newton's third law of motion teaches us that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. As he sits today in this room of ghosts, perhaps none is more aware of that than Steve Biko himself.